Hello friends and welcome to this session for GATE and ESC Electrical Engineering. My friend, this session is going to be one of the most awesome session and you are going to really learn something very new and something that will help you in the exam. In the exam for GATE, may it be 2021 or it may be 2022. Now, before we start the lecture, my friend, let me introduce you myself. My name is Ankit Goyal. I got AIR 1 in GATE 2014 and GATE 2018. And my friend, I was also awarded the President of India Gold Medal by the President himself in the year 2013 when I graduated from IIT Indore. Presently, I am working as a director at an academy for GATE department, and that is why constantly I am able to bring new and more initiatives for you. Because an academy is not an institute. An academy is not a coaching. An academy is more of a revolution. An academy is more of a feeling. An academy has everything right that is wrong with every other coaching institute in the country. The name An Academy, my friend, has been comprised of two words, un and academy. That means it has everything that is not there in an academy. So an academy cares about the student in the best way possible. It cares about the student most than or more than any other person can. All the initiatives are centered on the student. That is, they are always working towards the student welfare. And that is why, my friend, you are watching this course on power system. That is why, my friend, you are watching this course on power system free of cost on our YouTube channel. So my friend, if you are visiting this channel for the first time, make sure that you have subscribed, because we have electrical machine, power electronics, power system, communication system, EMT, EDC, network, signal, control, digital, everything is here on this channel, that too free of cost, my friend. But what has An Academy done? An Academy has brought a revolution in the country where they are providing the most affordable education, and that too free of that too at the most affordable price, as well as free of cost on YouTube. So my friend, if you want to be a part of the revolution that An Academy has created by means of the courses that are running on An Academy, where they are bringing you the best ever educators of the country on a single platform. That is, you, my friend, can be able to learn from India's top educator at the cheapest or at the most affordable prices possible. At the most affordable prices possible. Now, my friend, I'm talking to you. You can dare to dream. You can dare to enter a PSU. You can dare to dream about MTech from an IIT. Why? Because An Academy has made it possible. An Academy has done everything that is required to get the best rank in GATE examination. So my friend, if you want to join An Academy, make sure that you use the code Ankit ESE, because the door to An Academy opens with this code, and this directly makes me your mentor so that I can guide you at each and every step regarding your GATE preparation. And not only this, you will also get 10% discount on your subscription. Now, what does An Academy bring for you? Not only the live classes. The live classes are the best part of An Academy, where you can interact with the educator, ask your doubt, and make sure that you understand each and every concept and then only exit the class. But other than that, you get dedicated doubt session, where you can post a pic of a question and ask any doubt, any number of doubts. Then you have weekly quizzes. Every Sunday we test how much you have understood. Then there are daily practice paper which we provide you for practice. Then there are practice questions from An Academy. Then there are test series from An Academy. Then there is crash course, where we will boost your rank in the last few months. There is rank improvement batch for the students who have already done well in the GATE examination. Now, my friend, all of this just with one subscription fees, where you don't have to pay anything again and again or anything extra. That is the magic of An Academy. Just join An Academy without thinking too much.
Hi guys, up to now whatever we have covered in transmission was related to AC transmission. Whatever the voltages and currents we were considering were of alternating nature. So the first question that comes to mind, that when we go for DC transmission, what is the motivation behind your HVDC or the DC transmission? Now we derived in case of transmission lines the parameters of the line. There we saw inductance was usually derived in millihenry per kilometer and capacitance was in microfarad per kilometer. So that means total inductance is directly proportional to length. Capacitance is also proportional to length. So if length increases, inductance will increase, and if length increases, the capacitance will also increase. Now reactance is given as omega L. So reactance is also proportional to length. And we know Pmax in case of a transmission line is Vs Vr by X. So as X increases, Pmax will reduce, so stability will decrease. That means longer transmission lines are less stable as compared to a short transmission line. So as you go on increasing the length, the stability problem would arise in case of AC transmission. Now here we know line charging current is equal to omega C phase V phase. So as you increase the capacitance, line charging current will increase, which will also cause your problems because line charging current is always undesirable as it causes the voltage regulation to be high, because at no load receiving end voltage will be greater than sending end due to Ferranti effect, which is due to line charging current. So that also occurs more in case of a longer line as compared to a short line. Hence, as we increase the length of the transmission line, AC transmission causes more problems as compared to DC. In DC, there is no concept of frequency and reactance, so there is no stability problem. As well as frequency is 0, so there is no problem of the line charging current. Also, in AC, one of the principles or one of the main requirement of power transfer is that frequency at both the ends must be same. But in DC, there is no problem of frequency, that is, asynchronous power transfer is possible. That is, when both the ends will have different frequency, you can transfer the power by means of DC but not by AC. Suppose in case of English or the British system, the frequency is 50 Hz, whereas in US the frequency is 60 Hz. So if you want to lay down a conductor to transfer power between the US and the UK, you need to use a HVDC link and not a AC link. Now let us look at the principle of operation of a HVDC system. Now in case of HVDC transmission, the generation is actually in terms of AC, because for generation we mostly use synchronous generators or three-phase synchronous generator. So before transmitting the power, we need to convert it to AC. So that is why we will use a converter which will be actually a rectifier. It will convert AC into DC before the transmission. Similar converter we will have at the receiving end, which will be an inverter. It will convert the received DC power into a AC power for utilization. So here we need two converters, one at the sending end, other at the receiving end. Now why I have bisected this converter into two parts? Because this will be a 6 pulse converter. This will be another 6 pulse converter. So overall they will be 12 pulse converter. The meaning of this 6 pulse converter you will get to study in power electronics. And it just means there will be 60 degrees 6 pulses in a total period of 360 degree. That is your 6 pulse converter. This control circuit basically controls the firing angle. It will control the triggering of SCRs or thyristor for the purpose of rectifier output control. Okay. So in case of rectifier, the firing angle always lies between 0 to 90. In case of inverter, it will lie between 90 to 180. Okay. So just by changing the firing angle, I can interchange the operation of a rectifier and an inverter. So I can also change the direction of power flow, because power will always flow from rectifier to the inverter. So we can change the direction of power flow by changing the firing angle. So here bidirectional power flow is easier as compared to AC, because in AC we studied power flows from higher angle to lower angle. So we actually had to change the power angle. But here we just have to change the firing angle, which can easily be done by means of this control circuit. Now the output of the converter is pulsating DC. So we have to smoothen it out, hence we use a smoothing reactor to smoothen out the voltage waveform at the DC terminals of the converter. In case of power electronics converter basically, or a rectifier, we have voltage harmonics on the DC side because output is pulsating DC, whereas we have current harmonics on the AC side because on AC side we have applied a pure sinusoid, but the current is actually square wave and a square wave has harmonics. So current harmonics on AC side. The order of harmonics is always NP plus minus 1, where N is 1, 2, 3 something like this. P is the pulse number. So here we are using 12 pulse converter, that means it will be 12N plus minus 1, that is 11th harmonic, 13th harmonic, 23 harmonic, 25, that is why. So higher pulse number is always desirable because harmonics are of the higher order, or what I can say, lower order harmonics are eliminated, hence the output is more closer to a pure sinusoid if you use a higher pulse number. And the voltage harmonics will have a order of NP, where N is 1, 2, 3 an integer, P is the pulse number, because in a 6 pulse converter we will have 6 pulses. Okay, so it will have the first harmonic will be 6th harmonic. Okay, and here we are using DC filter. Again, to smoothen out the DC voltage waveform, we are using DC filter. Here AC filter is used to reduce the current harmonics on the AC side. As I told you, in a rectifier we will have current harmonics on the AC side. This is your SVC or static VAR compensator. Why is it used? See, in case of rectifier, due to harmonics, the power factor is less. Okay, so what happens on the DC side, there is no concept of reactive power, so entire reactive power required by the converter will be supplied by the AC side. That is why the power factor will get reduced when we are using a power electronics converter. Power factor is low, so we need to increase the power factor, and that is done by means of a SVC, that is a static VAR compensator. So we need to use reactive power compensation on the AC side in case of a power electronics converter, otherwise power factor would be low. But the advantage of AC is power will always flow from higher voltage to a lower voltage regardless of the angle, because in DC there is no concept of the phase. There is no phase angle. So power will always flow from higher DC voltage to lower DC voltage. And the DC voltages of inverter and the rectifier can be varied by varying the firing angle or the extinction angle. Like here, if I represent this HVDC system by this, a SCR pointing upward always represents a rectifier. SCR pointing downwards represents a inverter. Okay, so power will flow from rectifier to the inverter. Now the DC output voltage of a rectifier is always 3 V ml rectifier by pi cos alpha minus 3 omega LR by pi ID, where ID is the DC current flowing in the HVDC link. Here VMLR is nothing but it is the maximum line to line voltage on the rectifier side, that is here. So maximum voltage of line to line voltage is VMLR, and V2 will be 3 VMLI by pi cos gamma minus 3 omega Li by pi ID. Gamma is the extinction angle of the inverter, alpha is the firing angle of the rectifier. ID will simply be V1 minus V2 by R. This will be the DC link current. So if you can change the voltages V1 and V2 by changing the firing angle and the extinction angle, we can also change the direction of current and the magnitude of current. Okay, so that is how we can easily control the direction of power flow and the magnitude of power flow just by controlling the firing angle, which is done by means of a control circuit in the system. Now there are various type of DC links. First is called as monopolar link. So as we know, for power transfer or for current flow, we need a closed circuit. So either the closed circuit can be done by means of two wires, one as a forward conductor, other as a return conductor, or you can use only one conductor and other ground as the return path. Okay, so here we are using ground as a return path and we use only one conductor. So now one conductor will always have only one polarity. One polarity means, suppose V1 is, let us say, minus 500 volt. V2 is, let us say, minus 400 volt. Voltage in this line will be lying between V1 and V2 always. Okay, it will always lie between V1 and V2. That is, the voltage will vary from minus 500 to minus 400. So in between somewhere it will be minus 450. But what I can say is, all the voltages or voltage at any point on the transmission line will be negative. Okay, it cannot be positive. It will always lie between minus 400 to minus 500. That means we can say the polarity of the transmission link or the HVDC line is negative. That is what is meant by the polarity. If both the voltages would have been positive, then the entire voltages on the transmission line would be positive. But if one is positive and one is negative, in some part of the line you will have positive voltage, in other part you will have negative voltage, so you cannot tell the polarity. We usually keep either both the voltages positive or both the voltages negative. So the polarity of the line will be fixed. In a monopolar link, since we are using one conductor, it will have a single polarity which is usually kept as negative. Why we keep negative? Because it has been observed that at negative voltage radio interference is less as compared to positive voltage. Okay, so at negative voltage we have observed that radio interference is less, so we prefer negative voltage. So monopolar link means one conductor will be used as forward path, ground will be used as return path, and it will have negative polarity. That is, the voltage at every point on the conductor will be negative. Similarly, if you use two conductors, one as the forward path, one as the return path, it is called as bipolar link, because one conductor will have positive polarity, other will have negative polarity. That is, one conductor will have all the voltages positive or greater than 0, other will have all the voltages lesser than 0. Okay, so kindly correct this. This will also be pointing upwards. These both are rectifiers. These two are inverters. Okay. So here what is the benefit is that if suppose this conductor breaks down, then we will operate this link as monopolar link with ground as the return path. So that is the advantage. When one conductor in a bipolar link breaks down, it will operate as a monopolar link with a reduced capacity. Why reduced capacity? Because the voltage will be halved. Suppose this is plus V, this is minus V. Potential difference will be 2V. Current is I. But if one conductor, so power will be 2Vi. But if one conductor breaks down, the voltage will be plus V. Here it is 0. So delta V will be V. Current would still be I. Power will be Vi. So power carrying capability will become half, but still it can supply some power to the load. But in case of monopolar link, if one conductor breaks down, supply is interrupted. Okay. So that is the advantage of bipolar link. And the last type of link is called as homopolar link. It is actually bipolar link, but both the conductors will have same polarity. That is, both will be taken as negative. Okay. So that is your homopolar link. It is bipolar, but both will have the same polarity. Okay. Now, what are the advantages of using HVDC? First of all, in HVDC, there is no dielectric loss. Okay. No line charging current. So, no distance limitation. We can use it for as much distance as we want. Then there is no problem of stability. Okay. Then, since we saw corona loss is proportional to F plus 25, here F is 0, so corona loss is less. If corona is less, radio interference will also be less, because corona causes radio interference as it induces third harmonics. So radio interference is less. Then, what is the other advantage? These all advantages will only work for larger distances, and the last advantage can be no compensation required. See, in case of AC transmission, what was happening? If you were drawing more reactive power, then the voltage will get reduced, because Q is proportional to delta V. If Q increases, voltage drop increases. But in DC, there is no concept of reactive power, and hence there is no reactive power compensation required. But yes, reactive compensation is required at the terminals or at the converter end, because converter requires reactive power which will be supplied by the compensator. But you need not do the reactive power compensation at the midpoint or at any other point on the transmission line, because there is no concept of reactive power flow in a HVDC transmission. What are the disadvantages? First of all, here we require rectifier and inverter, and these converters are always costly. Okay, so these are always costly, and they also produce a lot of harmonics. The biggest disadvantage of power electronics is only the harmonics that the converters will generate. Okay, and they require reactive power which can reduce the power factor. Okay, that is also due to these harmonics. This will be covered in power electronics. How do the harmonics impact the power factor and how they require the reactive power. Okay, so these are the biggest disadvantages. One is the harmonics, other is the cost. Okay, so that is why we only prefer it for higher distance transmission, otherwise the higher cost will not be compensated. So what happens is, in case of AC, so suppose this is cost versus distance curve. What is happening is, when distance is 0, the cost is actually terminal equipment cost. That is, what is the equipment that you are using at the substation. That obviously will be higher in HVDC, because we need to use rectifiers, we need to use filters. So terminal equipment cost is higher in HVDC. So this will be DC, this will be AC. But AC has more number of conductors, like in 3-phase 3-wire we need 3 conductors. So its cost will increase at a higher rate with distance as compared to DC, because DC will need at the most 2 conductors. So its slope will be less. So at this point both costs are equal. It is called as break-even distance, where both costs are equal. At a distance higher than this, HVDC is preferable. At a distance lower than this, we use HVAC. So that is how we will plot this sort of a curve to decide whether to go for HVDC transmission or we can stick to HVAC transmission. Now let us consider a problem. Consider a HVDC link which uses thyristor based line commutated converter for a power flow of 750 megawatt from system 1 to system 2. It should be system 2. The voltage at two ends are given as V1 is 500 kV, V2 is 485, I is 1.5. Now we need to reverse the direction of power flow without changing electrical connection. Now power in DC is given as P is equal to VI. If you want to reverse power flow, then P is equal to VI must become less than 0. Then either V must be less than 0, I greater than 0, or V greater than 0 and I less than 0. That is, you have to reverse only one thing. Either reverse the voltage polarity or reverse the current direction. And one thing also to remember in HVDC is current will always flow from higher voltage to lower voltage. That is, if I is flowing in this direction, then V1 must be greater than V2. Okay. So current direction depends on the magnitude of voltage, and to reverse the power flow, either reverse the voltage polarity or reverse the current direction, but not both. Because if both becomes negative, then their product would still be positive. So direction of power flow would still be the same. Now let us look at the options. V1 minus 500 minus 485. That means V2 is greater than V1. So current will flow from 2 to 1. So current should have been negative, but current is given positive. So this option is invalid. Okay. Because current will always flow from higher voltage to lower voltage. And the current direction is indicated from V1 to V2. So if current is flowing from V2 to V1, then the direction should become negative. So current should have been minus 1.5. So this option is invalid. In the next, V1 is minus 485, V2 is minus 500. So V1 is greater than V2. Current will flow from 1 to 2. So current is positive. Now product power is equal to VI. V is less than 0. Current greater than 0. So power will be less than 0. So this option is perfectly valid. Because power becomes less than 0, hence the power direction is reversed. In the next, V1, V2 both are positive. V1 is greater than V2. So current will flow from 1 to 2. That is, current should have been greater than 0. So this option is invalid because current flows from 1 to 2. This should have been positive. In the last, V1 is minus 500, V2 is minus 485. Which one is greater? V2. V2 is greater than V1. So current will flow from 2 to 1. So current should be negative. It is true, current is negative. But here voltage is less than 0, current is less than 0. So power will be greater than 0. So that means power flow direction is still the same. So this option cannot be taken. So here B and D are valid options. But out of that, to reverse the power flow, you can only use B but not D. In case of D, power flows from 1 to 2. Power flow is not reversed. Hence we cannot use the option D. But A and C are perfectly invalid because current always flows from higher voltage to lower voltage. Current direction cannot be from low to high voltage. In the next problem, it is saying two regional systems each having several synchronous generators and loads are interconnected by AC line. Okay. And a HVDC link as shown in the figure. Which of the following statements is true? Both regions need not have same frequency. Here if you see, one is your HVDC link, one is your AC link. So if you are using AC link, then both need to have the same frequency. So this is incorrect. Then total power flow can be changed by controlling HVDC converters alone. Now why would there be a power exchange between the two regions? Power exchange would be there because one region will be power deficit, other will be power surplus area. Now the amount of power that is being transferred between the two regions will depend on how much power is required in the power deficit region. So that does not depend on HVDC converter, that actually depends on the requirement of load. So this option is also incorrect. Power sharing between AC and DC can be changed by controlling HVDC converters. Now by changing alpha, we can control VDC, we can control I. Hence we can control power is equal to VI. So DC power can be changed, but total power, that is PAC plus PDC, should be constant as it is dependent on load. So we can change the sharing of power between AC and DC by controlling the HVDC converters. Because if you change PDC, PAC will automatically change to keep PAC plus PDC change. How does PAC automatically change? Because if power changes, the power angle delta automatically varies. Okay, power angle is not in our control. As your power requirement will vary, delta will automatically adjust itself. The direction of power flow cannot be reversed. In the previous example just now we saw direction of power flow can be reversed. Hence the C option is correct. So let us summarize what we covered in this lecture. We saw first of all why we need HVDC. Then we saw what are the various parts like AC and DC filter. DC filter were to smoothen out the DC voltage. AC filter were to smoothen out the AC current. Smoothing reactor, again to smoothen out the DC voltage waveform. Then we used SVC to supply the reactive power to the converters. Then we used rectifier and inverter. Rectifier converted AC into DC for transmission, and inverter converted DC into AC for load. So these were some of the components that were using in the HVDC. Then we saw type of link, that is monopolar, which used only one polarity or one conductor. Then bipolar, which used two conductor having opposite polarity, and homopolar, two conductor having same polarity. And then we saw advantages and disadvantages of HVDC. Okay, so remember the components and their usage. AC and DC filters are used to smoothen out the AC current waveform and the DC voltage waveform. Smoothing reactor smoothens out the DC current waveform, that is the current flowing in the DC link, because inductor does not let the current change instantaneously. So it will make the current almost constant. SVC is used to supply the reactive power to the converters because they need reactive power which cannot be supplied by DC link, so they will absorb from the AC side. Rectifiers and inverters are used to convert the voltage between AC and DC. So this is all about the HVDC transmission that you need to know. No need to worry about the power electronics converter concept that we have used in this lecture, because they will be anyways covered in your power electronics course. Okay, so this is all from the unit of transmission and distribution.
So my friend, if you want to join Unacademy, if you liked the lecture, if you like the content that you have just watched, and you have decided that Unacademy is the right place for you, and you want to learn with me, you want to learn from me, then don't hesitate, because that is where we are conducting free classes every day that will boost your GATE rank. So if you decide to take subscription, click on GATE and ESE, click on get subscription. After this, you can choose the plan that you want to opt for. The final year and dropper can take 1 year plan. Second and the third year can take 2 year plan. But don't forget to use the code Ankit ESE. This will give you 10% off, as well as it will bring you under my guidance. And as you can see, the prices are really affordable, my friend. It is much less than any other institute can offer you. And that is why I keep repeating, Unacademy is not an academy. It is a revolution. It is a feeling. You can make the payment by credit, debit card, EMI, net banking. Also, EMI is available on debit card, but for HDFC debit card and Bajaj Finserv debit card. So if you are from a weak financial background, you can pay the amount in installments, but only use the code Ankit ESE. And my friend, these are some videos where I have told how to study, how to get the best rank in GATE, and these videos will really help you in cracking GATE. So make sure that you watch each and every one of them. And my friend, these are our other channels, like for mechanical we have, for civil also we have, for computer science we have for SSC, JEE, all branches, electrical, mechanical, civil. And on this channel we have the previous year question video solution, that too free of cost. And many more channels will be coming very soon for you guys. So be a part of our YouTube family, and you can take the benefit of all the free content that we are bringing. And my friend, this is my Telegram channel, where you will find the notes of each and every lecture that I take. and this is my Unacademy profile which you can follow to watch my content for free on Unacademy, because there also I am taking regular free classes. So if you can't afford to join Unacademy, then keep associated with us, keep sharing the content that we are providing, and work towards making this YouTube family bigger and better. We'll keep bringing more and more content for you, and the only fees that you have to pay, my friend, is that you have to work hard and you have to share and like each and every video that we are uploading. So that way this family gets bigger. Even the student in a rural area can take the benefit of the free initiatives that we have started. And my friend, you also get the best rank in GATE without having to stress about how to pay. So if you can't be paying or you can't afford to pay, then make sure that you are building this YouTube family, a bigger and a better YouTube family, the biggest and the best community of all electrical engineers. So that is all from my side. See you again in the next lecture. Thank you.